Thank you, Chair, and I really want to start by something I should have done at the end of last week's meeting, which is to thank everybody for giving witness and for being so engaging with this issue and with this committee. Those of you who have come today, but also those who were here last week that I forgot to thank: Amanda Slevin, Dr. John Sweeney, IBEC and the Offshore Producers Association, and everybody who's here today. So I'll start by that because I will forget. I'll get excited with the argument towards the end and forget. And I also want to thank the Chair and Anita Gibbons and her team. They've been really cooperative and done a hell of a lot of work behind the scenes to make this happen. Now, having said all that niceties and important stuff, I want to reiterate something Leo Varadkar Taoiseach said quite recently when he said that we are laggards in Europe in dealing with the issue of CO2 emissions and climate change and in reaching the targets that are set for us by Paris. He also said that the challenge of climate change is one of the greatest humanitarian challenges that we are facing in our lifetime, and I want to absolutely agree with him on both of those counts. And to say that I also welcome the fact that the Cabinet today are given the go-ahead and the green light to the bill submitted by Thomas Pringle, which is fossil fuel divestment. That's a really good sign, and I would just ask publicly here, I would ask the Taoiseach and the Cabinet to do likewise with this bill, to give it the green light and the go-ahead and to back it, because this is another contribution from this country in the battle to stop the planet overheating by more than 2 degrees within the next short period of time. That will make this planet uninhabitable for many of our species, but also many other species as well. Just to mention the very hot spell we're going through and the lives that have been lost in places like southern Quebec and Cyprus and all the rest of it, I know that science will tell you that you cannot take that as an example of climate change, that it has to be incremental over a number of years. But we have witnessed the 8 hottest years in the last 16 ever on record. And this is a real sign that what was warned in Cmmtte over 26 years ago is actually happening, and happening faster than Cmmtte thought, and happening faster than Paris thought. And so therefore the question of how we deal with fossil fuel emissions, burning carbon, emitting more of it into the air, is really, really fundamentally important. I'm aware that the public, some of the public are watching this, and I'm aware that the public often get baffled by the science and think, well, I don't understand that, 350 parts per million, what are they on about, or carbon exchange mechanisms. It doesn't seem like logical or sensible to them. But what I do think the public understand is when you think about oil, gas and coal, they know that this is dirty fuel that is causing a lot of problems in our planet, and they will think about how we deal with that. So today I want to very much welcome the witnesses that are going to present to us. Greg Muttet, who's going to speak first because Greg has to catch a ferry back to Britain, is from an organisation called Oil Change International, and we met Greg last year in Bonn when we went to the COP conference, and I was very impressed with the research and stuff that they've done. So Greg today is specifically going to tackle the question of fossil fuels, but in particular gas as a clean transition fuel. Is this true? Is it not true? And I know the gas industry would argue it is, but Greg is going to take on that challenge. And then Paul Allen, I also want to welcome and thank very much for coming. Paul is from Zero Carbon Britain, and his organisation are looking at a model for how we move forward to full use of renewable energy, and it's a very sensible model. I think it's one that we should think about and adapt, not just in this committee but right across Parliament. And then of course we have witnesses from the SEIA and on board GOSH, and all of that is going to make for a very interesting debate. But again, while I have the floor, to thank all the environmentalist movement who've backed this bill, who've given it support, who've collected petitions. We'll be meeting you later, Chair, to thank you and to urge you to push this bill forward. And they're here in the gallery today to hear the arguments. So I'll shut up and just let Greg go on. But I did ask for the committee's permission for Greg and Paul to give their submissions, and then for everybody to be able to ask some questions and challenge them, including your good selves as witnesses, rather than taking all 4 together and us coming back because of the importance. Greg has to be out of here by 1:30. So, thank you.
And if you want